Hi, my name is Mark and I'm a professor of economics. In this video, we're going to talk about how to get an A. This is a special technique on how to get an A from a professor. And my underlying premises here is memory is a retrieval problem, not a formation problem. What does that mean? Okay, have you ever forgotten a name and then somebody tells you and you say, ah, yes, that's right. Have you ever looked at an exam and you look at the result and you say, ah, yes, that's right, I knew it. Have you ever just sat in an exam and kind of blanked out and you don't remember it? I know, I've been there, believe me. So follow me. Understand what I'm saying here. Memory is a retrieval problem, not a formation problem. And memory, your brain is like this jungle. Look at the vastness of this jungle. You can get lost in it. And that's what happens on exams. Students get lost in finding their way. So they get lost finding their way to a specific particular idea that they're being tested on. There is a solution. Create a path. Here we have a trodden path. The first time you walk through the jungle, there's nothing. You don't have a path. If you walk it 10, 20, 100 times, you're going to get a well-trodden path. Eventually, people put down highways and pathways and bike trails. Then it becomes very easy. The path leads you to the answer, to that place in your brain where that memory, those neurons, those axioms, those dendrites have formed this memory, and you can readily retrieve it and access it in an instant. And that is what studying is about. There's also the comprehension idea, but initially there's these elementary cognitive processes called and memory bytes, like a computer, that you have to form. And you have to form it through laying down a path. How do you do it? That's the subject of this video. But what we're going to do is practice articulation. Practice conveying the idea, either on note cards, notebook, or actually just verbally. You must practice retrieving that idea until you've laid down a path. So let's take a look at some of my specific techniques. Let's go. Thank you. Okay, so the underlying premise is memory is a retrieval problem, not a formation problem. It may not be correct in 100% of the cases, but to get you that A for your relevant ideas, try to practice retrieving. Also, some other tips: classical music, chants, relaxation, study music, brainwaves, silence is golden. Don't distract yourself with erratic sounds coming into your brain. Study music. Sit up straight. The blood flows easier to the brain, the central nervous system, your spine, your brain is all connected, and the body responds to positions. Now, when you're studying, get into an atmosphere. Look at this. If you're listening to erratic music, whatever is the popular music of today, you're on Snapchat, Instagram, you're on WhatsApp, you're checking your app. I know your friends are very important and people are very important. It's critical that you have instantaneous communication with them. But if you're honest, are you there to just entertain yourself and chill, or are you there to study? No posture here, a lot of distractions, electronics. You're breezing through the book. Yeah, I know this, or this is boring, it's really hard. Don't let your mind play these games. Don't delude yourself. I'm asking you to be honest with yourself. When you're studying, you should study. Have time allocated. If it's all distraction, this probably is a negative in terms of you shouldn't even open the book. You'll probably get negative associations. You're probably better off winging it than studying in this fashion. So here's the tip. Use a physical book, not electronic devices. Electronic devices are bad for the brain. They steal energy from the brain. Physical book. Take notes, write it on paper, on note cards. Test yourself. Test this articulation. Develop this retrieval skill. Build that pathway to that memory. Practice articulating ideas in a mirror. Use Audacity as a recording program, or just to yourself or to others. It's kind of the Socratic method. When you practice articulating, you're building that retrieval pathway. Here's a study. Drop the cell phone in the trash. Throw it away. Don't even put it in front of you. You put it in front of you, subconsciously your mind is going to be thinking about it. Use a book, some paper, and a pencil. That's all you need. Straight spine, and get ready. A lot of people use stickies. I know a lot of high school girls or guys. They're all about ribbons and stickies and color. It's all great. I prefer just pen and pencil, a sparse table, no distractions, certainly no electronic devices in front of you. Even if they're off, they're a distraction. Your brain is thinking about it. It's an addiction. You're driven to distraction with these things. A lot of people think books are sacred text. They're not. Feel free to write in them and mark them up. I personally don't. I just, not my style. But just read, study, go back, check, take notes. But remember, your purpose here is not to take notes. Your purpose here is to build this retrieval pathway to the memory. And the only way that's going to happen if you test yourself. It's almost like the Socratic method that you draw the information out from you. You're smarter than you think. We all add up to 100%. I say this a lot. And you can do it. You just have to test yourself. Taking notes is not the exercise. Reading the book is not the exercise. It's being able to test yourself that you know these ideas and can articulate it. So the retrieval problem of memory no longer becomes a problem. It's the exercise. You clear that pathway to that memory, and that should be the focus of your studying. And that is the difference between an A and a C. A C person will just take notes, read it, and I don't know why I didn't do well. An A person is practicing, closing their eyes, covering the answers, testing and retesting. You know, when I play chess, sometimes I practice various lines of defense and lines of attack, and sometimes I do it in my brain. Even if I'm driving in the car or not actually driving, or I'm in a passenger seat, I can test and retest these. And I want to see these movements. I visualize it. Use these techniques. Draw it in your mind, in your imagination. Cover it up. Test it. Say it out loud. This is studying. Anything else, you're swindling yourself out of your own time. So practice conveying ideas and phrases that are specific to your subject out loud. You can use Audacity as a recorder, or you can do it to another person or to yourself. I think when there's an external stimulus, it's better. Sit up straight, listen to study music or chants or classical music, Mozart, Bach. Use a real book, summarize on notes, and note cards are great. Note cards are the way you test. Memory is the retrieval problem, not a formation problem. Understand and meditate on what that means, and you'll get an A. If you can center your studying around this, you'll get that A. It's got to be active. Bonus tip. If you know the why in life, the how is easy. Why are you trying to get that A? Is it for your parents, for your girlfriend, boyfriend, to make more money in the future, to glorify God, for your own intellectual curiosity? Get that A. Get it by knowing why you're studying, what your motivation is, and be that motivation. Follow through with it. Achieve what you want to achieve. This is kind of like a study with me session, but it's more important to understand articulation and why. Thanks.